Not sure what's happening here.
It says live on Facebook. Dang.
Okay. All right. Hello. If you guys can see and hear us, please let me know in the chat. Will I be able to see the chat? That's the only thing I'm not sure.
I'm going on your Facebook group to see if I can see it.
Okay, I'm gonna actually go on my phone too and see. Technology.
No.
Okay, I see us. Okay, I see 6. Okay, we are live. So thank you all for joining me again for another segment of Wednesdays with Wendy. Today is very special. We have a special guest, Beth Auguste. She's a registered dietitian, and she is here to talk to us about stress and nutrition. So we're going to kind of keep this whole stress topic going this week. Beth is the owner and CEO of Be Well with Beth. She'll let us know more about that. And with that, Beth, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. My name is Beth Auguste, and I own Be Well with Beth. That's a lot of Beths. I am a registered dietitian, nutritionist, and fitness trainer, and I've worked in healthcare, and I worked before that as a personal trainer for, I've been a dietitian for 10 years. I probably worked in the health-focused field for about 15 years. Lots of different experience in physical therapy clinics. When I worked in the hospital, I worked on an oncology floor for a little while, different types of floors, inpatient in the hospital, cardiology department, outpatient, worked in employee health and wellness. And then now that I am, I started my own business after I had my daughter 2 years ago. And so it's called Be Well with Beth. And I focus on helping people who are just really busy and overwhelmed, which I think is many of you here, find ways to feel a little bit healthier, feel kind of navigate through all of the nutrition stuff that's out there and fitness stuff that's out there, and actually make a plan that feels good for you, right for you, and find something that fits you. So I'm here today to talk about stress and nutrition, and looking forward to it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Beth. So let's just get started. Let's jump right in. So Beth, tell us, how does stress really impact nutrition?
So yeah, so stress, so I think we talked about this before. If stress impacts nutrition, nutrition impacts stress. So I am guessing that the people in this room listening right now have a lot going on, a lot on your minds, and it can be really easy when you're stressed out to let your health habits fall by the wayside. It can be really easy to say, like, I'm too much to think about. I can't even grocery shop. I can't even think about dinner. Like, we'll just order something. I don't care. And that's easy. And like, sometimes that's the right thing to do because you need easy. But when that piles up and when you get to a place where you're not thinking so often about your meals and snacks, and you're not eating for hours, or and then you are eating, is that the stress causes that to happen, but then that can create more stress. So then you start to have, let's say you didn't eat for too many hours in a row. Your cortisol hormones, which I think you guys learned about last week, start to rise. If your cortisol hormones rise, that impacts how your blood sugar is affected, that impacts your immune system, and that impacts your stress and inflammation in your body. And so being stressed out makes us not eat right, and not eating right makes our body not react to stress as well.
Yes, thank you. Yes, we did talk about that, how stress can actually impact the body. And we talked about putting ourselves at risk for type 2 diabetes, for inflammation, decreasing our immune system. So that's great. Beth, what foods would you recommend? Like if someone is stressed, like meal plans or meals that are kind of easy to make and go, like what do you recommend for someone who may be in a stressful situation?
Yeah, so that's a very, very good question. And a lot of what I like to do is give really practical solutions. So I think if you're in a really stressful situation and you don't have a lot of time to think about yourself, first, I want to give you permission to think about yourself, which I'm sure Wendy is doing, but you need to feel your best to be able to take care of others. You need to feel like you have slept as well as you could have. You need to feel like your stress levels are as low as they can be so you can manage others. Yeah. So I don't want to give you guys this like complicated, crazy grocery shopping list, because I could give you that for inflammation and for the perfect healthy diet, but that's not realistic. So I always kind of start off with people who are feeling overwhelmed with really, really basic goals. So the first one is hydration. Check in with yourself. Are you actually drinking fluids? Or are you not sleeping, so then you're waking up, you're tired, maybe you go pee, your pee is bright yellow, and you drink a coffee because you got to get going, you got 800 things to do today. And that's not setting you up to feel good later that day. That's not setting you up to be as productive as you want to be. And so one thing you could do with tell yourself as just your one rule, I like to call it your life raft, or the duct tape that holds your self-care toolbox together when you can't actually use the tools. Maybe your one thing is that you always have a glass of water before your first cup of coffee. So if you take nothing else away from today, maybe you tell yourself, I'm going to have water before coffee. So
Beth, how much water should you have? What's the recommendation now?
So the recommendation, the easy one is half your body weight in ounces.
Okay.
So 200 pounds, that's 100 ounces. That is a lot. You don't have to reach that. If you aim towards it, I guarantee you'll get more than you're getting right now. And also remember that some of that comes from food. So if you're not a water person, some people don't like drinking water, eat soup, eat a lot of vegetables like cucumbers, tomatoes, grapes, fruits. If you think about anything that you bite into that has a liquid that comes out, that's a natural food, that's water, that's hydrating you. So think about those foods if you're not a water drinker, and that can count towards that 100 if that's what your goal is.
Very good. Nice.
So there's hydration. Let's see. So the other thing I like to think about is not necessarily what foods to choose, because I don't want to give you guys a grocery list that you then feel like you can't follow, but how to choose your meal. So the most basic way to think about it is that my plate picture where, you're eating, like, let's pretend your meal looks like a balanced plate with like the chicken, the vegetables, the rice, even though it doesn't always look like that. But let's take okay, you're going to grab a hoagie or a sub wherever you are in the country. I'm in Philadelphia right now, so it's hoagie down here. But let's say you're going to grab that. And so in your mind, you divide it up. Okay, so 50% of your plate should be a fruit or a vegetable. And then the other 50% we should divide in half, and 25 should be your starch and 25% should be your protein. So if you're having a hoagie, that bread is way bigger than 25% of your plate. And then, so let's say, okay, then you've got the protein on there because maybe there's turkey or steak or something. So then you've got way too much on this side of the plate and not enough here. So how can you add a vegetable to that meal? Can you get a side salad? Can you get the extra red peppers and lettuce and tomato, and then maybe pull some of the bread out of the hoagie bread so that you're not getting this giant carbohydrate spike of blood sugar spike, which leads to a drop, which if your stress hormones and your cortisol are high, you don't want. So it's not about there's something with when you're stressed out that you want the comfort food. So it's not about denying yourself the comfort food, but it's about balancing it. So if you're going to have a hoagie, have a lot of vegetables, have a piece of fruit maybe while you're waiting for them to get delivered. So really thinking about back to the basics, every meal, every snack. So it's not just meals, it's snacks too. All right, so I'm going to eat an apple. Well, an apple counts on the produce side, but now this side's full and this side's empty. So then you need a cheese stick to give you some protein, and there's some carbohydrate in a cheese stick. Or then you need peanut butter to give you some protein and fat to round out that meal. So every time you're eating, the simple way is that plate. A little bit more complicated if you've got the knowledge for it, which I think we do, and then we get confused, is thinking about a protein, a fat, and a carbohydrate. So in the apple and peanut butter example, if you just eat an apple, you're going to eat it, digest it really quickly. You're going to get a spike in blood sugar. It's going to go to your brain. Your brain needs it. You shouldn't not eat carbohydrate. Your brain needs it to function well, to be less stressed. Your brain functions best on sugar. Okay, so you eat the apple, you digest it really quickly, you get a brain boost, and then it's gone. You eat the same apple, but you put peanut butter on it. The peanut butter will literally coat your stomach. That's the fat. It coats your stomach and it slows the digestion of that apple. So then you get this steadier stream of energy, you're more clear-headed, you're able to think more clearly, you're able to feel less stressed, and then later this protein is there to help you not be hungry, to help kind of curb the hunger at the end. So it's really this idea of either the balanced plate or the carbohydrate, protein, and fat. And so it's less about what's in the meal. I had a client the other week that she right now, like her quarantine, what's the word? Coping mechanism is Cheetos or Cheez-Its. And so she's going to eat a million Cheez-Its all the time. And so we talked about for her, she's going to also eat an apple when she has the Cheez-Its to balance out, give you the water, give you the fiber. And I think she might also put cheese on the Cheez-Its now to give her the protein. So it doesn't mean you should not eat the junk food, because right now is a time in your life that maybe you're leaning on that a little bit, but how do you round it out and balance it to make sure that your blood sugar is steady, that your energy is steady, that your mind is clear, as you're dealing with the stressors of everything in your life.
Nice. Thank you for that answer. So I know everyone talks about stress eating or stress snacking. Can you talk to us a little more about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that goes back to the fact that our brains function really well on glucose. And we know that somewhere inside that when you're feeling low, we know that we get like a little dopamine hit when we eat chocolate or when we eat junk food. And I think that's fine. I think it just comes back to that, making sure you're having everything else with that meal. So you get the dopamine hit, but then you don't get the drop. I also think that, unfortunately, food companies are very good. They have teams of scientists, junk food companies that make these foods be really pleasurable, but make sure the pleasure doesn't last so that we keep going back for more. So I always challenge people to find the thing that brings you pleasure that you actually are satisfied after. Because I think we all have like my thing is wheat thins. If you put a box of wheat thins in my house, I will eat the whole thing. But if you put something else, then I might be more satisfied earlier. So like, what is the thing that actually satisfies you as opposed to the thing that you can't stop eating? Because stress eating is a thing. And you can't beat yourself up for it. And I think that just makes it worse because that's adding to the stress. But you want to at least drink a glass of water before you totally stress eat, or make sure there's protein so that you don't feel quite so crummy later.
All right, I'm going to look at my phone because I see we have some questions. I can't see them on the screen.
Okay.
So there's a question. What quick food or meal provides the perfect or best carb, fat, protein balance?
Oh, good question. Okay, so I guess I'll give a few examples for like each type of meal. So breakfast is tricky because the traditional American diet, the only protein source that we really get like a good solid protein is eggs. It could be hard-boiled eggs and some fruit and a piece of toast. Or it could be, if you are somebody that loves, so I think a lot of people will try to do the avocado toast when you're trying to be healthy and good to yourself. But then you're just getting the carb from the toast and the fat from the avocado, but you're missing protein. So you could slice up some egg whites to put on the avocado toast, or sprinkle flaxseed, ground flaxseed, which we talked briefly a second ago about inflammation, but flaxseed has omega-3 fat, which is an anti-inflammatory fat, which is really good for reducing inflammation, which I think everybody who's stressed out has a level of inflammation they need to help their body work through. So maybe it's avocado toast with avocado on it and a sprinkle of flaxseed or chia seed. Maybe it is, if you're an oatmeal kind of person or an overnight oats kind of person, that on its own is too much carb, not enough protein, not enough fat. So maybe you throw a swirl of peanut butter in, and then you're rounding out. So you're getting protein from the oat, protein from the peanut, and then you're getting fat from the peanut butter, and then that becomes a balanced breakfast.
What's the alternative to peanut butter? I know some people may have like peanut butter allergy. Is there an alternative?
Yeah. So, nowadays almond butter seems to be everywhere, but there's, what is the brand? 88, I think. I'll send it to you later and put it in the group. But there's a company now that I just discovered that makes nut butters that are free of all the major allergens. So it's not peanut, it's not sesame. I think it's sunflower seed butter.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. If you can find pumpkin seed butter, I don't know if that's a thing, but that would be really good. Or putting pumpkin seeds on things, because those are high in magnesium, which is good for your muscles and stress and tension and mood. I think we're learning more about magnesium and the connection to mood. So yeah, so good questions. Other snack balance. Oh, and then with the oatmeal, fruit to make that balance. With a lunch, like let's say you have a sandwich, you just want to make sure you've got baby carrots on the side, or sugar snap peas, or those little mini bell peppers where you can bite them like a strawberry and then just throw out the seeds. You can bring a pack of those with you when you're like running around to appointments, and that's hydrating you too, also to eat. Have those with the cheese stick. So sorry, but sandwich, veggies, and then a piece of fruit. And I think a lot of the time we like will be pulling a meal together, but we waited till we were starving to pull that meal together. So then we eat crackers or chips while we're making it. I think probably everybody's done that at some point. So my challenge to you for that is eat vegetables while you're making it. Because then if you're making a sandwich, you don't have to have this balanced plate, because if you were pretending you ate the vegetables at the same meal, which you kind of did, they balance the plate. So like eat your baby carrots or your bell peppers while you're making your lunch. So hopefully that answered that question. There's also some handouts. I forget, Wendy, if I sent you the link yet, but I'll give you guys some handouts that have some snack and meal ideas.
Oh, great. And I'll put it in the group. Thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
So Beth, I'm really big on mindfulness. Do you ever educate your patients on mindful eating?
Yeah. And I think that can be a really nice way to do stress relief. Mm-hmm. I think there's a woman, actually, there's all these people I want to share with you guys. There's a woman, her Instagram handle is Rock My Retreat, and she does mindfulness with a piece of chocolate. And it's all about, so I know that mindful eating, if anybody's looked into it, there's always the raisin example.
Yes.
But I think the chocolate's yummier and feels, I don't know, I enjoy it a lot more. And so it really does make a difference if you are really wanting to indulge. Being in the moment with the food and noticing the smell of it, the taste of it, the weight of it, really does make you feel like you had a more well-rounded whole experience, which makes that food more satisfying. So yeah, I'm glad you asked that, because I think that that's so important, is to not let yourself be, halfway through a chocolate bar and realizing you haven't tasted it yet, but tasting it and being in the moment with it. And it's also good because if you don't have the time or the ability or the desire to meditate in other ways, this is like a quick little 30-second meditation you can do in your day that might just help you like change, how when you close your eyes for 30 seconds, your mood changes sometimes, like same type of thing.
Yeah, we had a mindfulness commitment. I call it a commitment, where we use our senses. And that was one of them, to eat something for 1 minute and really just kind of enjoy it. So it also decreases stress. You're enjoying the food, but you're also just in the moment with whatever you're eating, really enjoying it. So that's good. Beth, are there any foods that you think maybe we should probably try to stay away from in terms of, increasing the inflammation in our body?
Yes and no. I think everything in moderation is good. Like, I think the stress of telling yourself you can't have a certain food is not worth the impact of that food on inflammation. But I think, it's leaning towards more whole foods, things that have less ingredients. I'd rather you eat the chocolate, like the full fat chocolate, than some weird low fat variety that has chemical to replace the fat. So going for the more natural whole foods.
Okay. I'm going to see if we have any questions in the chat. Any recommendations for caregivers staying at hotels away from home, basically healthy choices than eating out at restaurants? That's a really good one.
Yeah, that is a good, And before the pandemic, I used to tell everybody to go to a Whole Food salad bar and get everything, but now that's not a thing.
Not happening now.
I think so. Look at your shelf. Well, first, see if you can find a place that has a microwave. If you can get a room with a mini fridge, that's even better. But things that are I feel like I have a grocery list for this somewhere. Things that are easy to microwave that are healthy. So you could do microwave minute-long brown rice with a can of beans that are, there's a couple brands that sell them with like, marinade on them. So they're not the kind you rinse, they're the kind you can just eat. So like mix that together. It's not the most gourmet meal, but it's a way to get really good wholesome nutrition. Thinking about so canned tuna pouches, you can peel those and just eat those wherever you are. So you can always have the tuna pouches. You can always have a tuna pouch in your bag with a fork. Yes, it smells. So depending on if your loved one cannot stand that smell, you might not be able to do that. There's different varieties too. There's like tilapia, there's salmon. So if you sneak away and hide somewhere when you eat it and then maybe brush your teeth, maybe it's possible. Let's think what else. Jerky, beef jerky is great. There's grass-fed varieties if you're trying to look for something a little bit more whole and natural. There's, I really am a big advocate still of going to your local grocery store and buying some foods there that don't have to be cut or prepared, but that can just be thrown together into a meal. So like buying those like bags of salad kit with maybe if there's like a pre-grilled slice of chicken and you have a fridge in your hotel room, you can just grab the chicken, slice it up, maybe buy some like yummy bread from the grocery store. So then you've got a well-rounded meal there.
Yeah. No, that's good. Thank you for that. No other questions right now. So right now we have a move commitment going on where people are moving for a minute a day and then walking for 20 minutes or 21 minutes a day. So exercise is really important to, your physical health. What would you recommend for, caregivers who are trying to work out and then after, what should they have? Should they have protein, fat, after their workout, before their workout? You have any recommendations there?
Yeah, so I think depending on how intense your workout is, really the science is moving away from saying that you need something right after. However, I will say, like anecdotally, with people I've worked with in the past, if you're doing a somewhat difficult workout, I think eating within 15, 30 minutes after your workout can be really good to prevent you from being over hungry later in the day. And so, especially if you're having long days, I think it's important to have something. I always recommend something that's easy for your body to digest. So like yogurt, cheese, those types of things have like quick digesting carbs. Or I'm thinking of a fruit. I would do like a banana. Like I wouldn't do an apple that has the hard crunchy skin because that might make your stomach have to work too hard right after a workout. But something more like a banana, pears maybe, or if you have an apple that doesn't have the skin, you could do that, or applesauce. That's another good thing actually to pack with you and bring with you everywhere are applesauce pouches. I think that, and maybe because I have a toddler, this is where my mind goes, but I think there's a lot in like the kid food section of the grocery store that can be really useful when you're on the run. There's like the little yogurt pouches. There's the little pouches that have some vegetable and fruit in them. They make adult versions that have chia seed, which gives you some of that omega-3. So that could be something else to keep in your bag so that if you feel like you're having a low blood sugar, you just eat one of those real quick. I know that was not what you were asking, but that just my mind went there. But those would also be good after a workout.
Okay, no, thank you for that. No other questions at the moment. So we're going to try to wrap it up a little bit, but do you have like 3 little nuggets for our viewers today?
Yeah, so I think it's wonderful you guys are here and that you're taking care of yourselves and recognizing that you need that. And it's not wrong to need that. It's important for you so that you can take care of your loved one and yourself and everyone else in your life because you've got more than one loved one. So I think that, with all of this stuff, it shouldn't add to your stress. It should relieve your stress. And so I just threw a lot of information at you. And I think the first nugget is where if you're like, whoa, I'm not doing anything she said, don't be hard on yourself. Start with one thing. So I'm going to leave you with 3 ideas. So one is hydrating. So maybe you start with the water before your coffee, and that's just a thing you do. Or maybe I had a client that used to call water his pause button, and he would, before he was a stressed out physician, just always, stress eating. And he would say, no, I'm going to have a glass of water before I figure out what my snack is. So maybe it's water as a pause button. And I think, I didn't really stress on this, but I think making sure there's protein in all of your meals is really big. because that's the one thing that when I have clients work on that they say, wow, I felt so much better that day. All the other stuff matters, but I think really making sure you're not missing your protein is really important. So that could be hard-boiled eggs that you have in your bag, which I know are kind of stinky too. It could be the grass-fed jerky. It could be beans. It could be a little yogurt pouch, squeeze pouch that, squeeze pouches don't smell too. So that's also a nice thing about them. So it could be a little squeeze pouch that you just suck down. And so I would try to get some kind of protein and hydrate, and don't be hard on yourself. Those are the 3 things.
Nice. Thank you so much. So for everyone who's watching, if anyone wants a free consultation with Beth, nutritional consultation, go to shapepartners.org, the contact us section, put your name in there, put that you were here live or you're watching the replay. So the first 7 people that do that will be able to get a free consultation with Beth and her team. Beth, thank you so much. We appreciate all the information. We're getting a lot of thank yous, great ideas, and thanks for the information. We are going to wrap up. Any other last minute questions? I'll wait 1 minute just to see if anyone has a burning question they want to ask you.
Yeah, and thank you for having me, everybody.
Yeah, this was really good. I really appreciate it. Okay, no questions are coming through. Thank you so much. We'll see you guys next week for Wednesdays with Wendy. Good night.